Yo, what's up guys, Shujinkydink here with another video to entertain or assist you in becoming the better Mortal Kombat player.
Hey guys.
And this video is all about Quan Chi, which variation you should use, in which way, which one's better, and my personal Quan Chi tier list. So I'm going to start just kind of by going over which variations I think are better than others, and then I'm going to kind of go into just a little bit of detail on which variation you should use when. So in my opinion, this is just my opinion, Sorcerer Quan Chi is his most rounded variation and probably his best one as of right now. Just the ability to control meter and armor portal are just two very strong tools, especially in this game. And he does a very good job of kind of being well balanced. And I'll kind of go into more detail on strategy and stuff then. But Summoner Quan Chi is just right behind him. I mean, honestly, if someone really wanted to argue back and forth that one's better than the other, I wouldn't doubt it. Because Summoner, of course, does have that mix. He kind of has the like hit you once and never let you go kind of setups. Strongest zoning in the game, in my opinion. Maybe next to Pyro Tanya. And yeah, of course, just massive damage with his bat combos and whatnot. So, arguments can definitely be made for him as well, but in my personal opinion, I think Sorcerer just has better tools and is a little bit better on the defense in certain scenarios. So starting with Summoner I've used in matchups where I want to keep my opponent away as much as possible. I think that he is like 100% zoning based variation now, and I'm not saying that in the sense that he has really bad rushdown or anything, because like he really doesn't. He's honestly really safe. The problem is obviously his defense, that he doesn't have really any armor move other than Skydrop. He has good pokes and really good normals, but I mean, just ways out of pressure and stuff, he doesn't really have them. His down one doesn't really have to be respected. It doesn't really lead to much. So I mean, if people that know the matchup, you know, they can just down one right back, get the advantage if you try and do anything, that kind of thing. So I do think that Summoner is a purely zoning variation now, and I would use him in matches that you just want to keep your character completely away, like Devora and Jax and Johnny Cage, characters like that. So Sorcerer Quan Chi, the reason that I have him just the highest is that he just plays like such a unique zoning game, and just a game of really like not making you play, if you use him properly, that is, making you play the whole match without any meter at all. And you know, the zoning, you can even delay the runes and stuff. You know, I used 2 EX runes and that stole his whole bar meter. And just very unique zoning. And then of course, up close, you can have unique combos where you can use the spell right in the middle of it. If you see that they're going to get a breaker. Didn't quite combo there, but you've seen that in past videos I've done. So things like that, just his ability to steal your meter so quick is just ridiculous. And then of course he had the armor, which gives you a free hit of armor, which in the corner of course gives you armored 50/50s. So if they block this, you could counter with like 2-1 if they try and jump out, or you could you know, you can just do standing 1 to catch them jumping. Good hit confirm there. And then of course they kind of have to hold all the pressure, just kind of have to wait for it to be over, which is unfortunate for them. So it's definitely one of the stronger corner games. And Summoner does have a very strong corner game as well, but it's, I mean, he does have the 50/50s, but he has some fun to blockable stuff as well, but most of those are gimmicks. And people that know the matchup will know kind of, you know, how to get out of them and stuff. Sorcerer isn't really like that. He's just like a true 50/50 character. What you see is what you get. Guess wrong, you guess wrong. That's just what happens. So I would use him in matches. The only thing that kind of gives him a bit of trouble is characters with like full screen multi-hitting moves, like Liu Kang's Dragon Kick, for example. Can kind of hit him out of this and of course go through projectiles and stuff. He can burn 2 bars and make it the bicycle kick and just kind of get in and also push him out of his armor circle. So that is a little bit of a struggle, but in that sense I still believe that Sorcerer is the best one for him, just for the fact of stealing meter and stuff like that. And that kind of goes down to defense, and I think if played properly, Sorcerer Quan Chi, once you keep them away, by the time that they do get close, they shouldn't have enough meter to really continue a whole lot of pressure or keep a bunch of things safe, depending on the character, of course. Some with cancels and stuff that it's still kind of a pain. But you lessen the chance of that if they approach you with no meter, as opposed to Summoner, who when he's zoning you, you're still building meter, and a lot of his combos and stuff are unbreakable, so they're not even using meter for a breaker. So by the time they get to you, not only do they have meter for a breaker, if you do happen to reverse the pressure on them, they also have meter to extend their plus frames, get armored launchers, and things like that, and just make it a lot harder for Summoner. Whereas Sorcerer, as long as you play the zoning game and steal their meter and play the meter game right, you won't have to worry about that as much. So I think in a defensive strategy aspect, I like it in that sense. So I do Sorcerer against. One character I really like him against is Reptile. He does a really good job of keeping him at bay. Reptile doesn't really have a whole lot he can do against them full screen once he gets the armor spell up. Every option he does, I mean, you could just EX trance the force ball if you want. You can, if he does a slide, you can just, you got the hit of armor, it's easy to punish. Doesn't really have any multi-hitting things unless he does the force ball and the spit. But both of them would have to reach you at the same time, and it's more than enough time for Sorcerer to get his offense going. You could use him in the same other matchups that I mentioned earlier, like Devora and Jax and stuff like that, but I do like Summoner a little bit better for that, because I find he keeps him out a little bit better, having the back projectile to cover his butt as well. And that kind of brings us to the last variation, which is Warlock. Now Warlock, of course, did lose his armor on the scoop, which is kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is, And that was weird when I reset practice mode. It started us with no meter. I'm not sure if it saved the meter from where we left off. Anyways, I do like doing this though. It's fun. It's really quick overhead low. People are usually trying to like fussy guard with the runes, but you can do that one. You're expecting the overhead. It's pretty fun. But yeah, you got the portal stab, which doesn't really work properly. It works in some matchups, like against Katana. If she jumps and does the air fan, you can hit her out of the air with that. So that's like alright, but the main purpose you pick this variation is for the forward 3. The forward 3 is one of the best anti-zoning tools in the game, as I mentioned in my previous video about zoning. I'll put a little card or something up so you can go and check that out. But the forward 3 is good in some matchups like full auto Jackie. You can duck her bullets and then counter and actually punish her with the forward 3. I think he does okay against Katana. Pre-patch he used to be the best option against Katana, not only because of the forward 3, kind of kept her from zoning. He also had the scoop to counter her frame traps and kind of make her afraid of that. Now she doesn't have to worry because of her forward advancing strings, so just blow right past the portal stab, which I don't have meter for. I was going to show you, but the little tickle to the head doesn't really work very much. But like I showed you in the video, the kick is good against some characters like Tremor or Sector, who kind of quote-unquote break their moves, break their zoning. So I would play him in matchups like that, but it's kind of weird to me to play him strictly for one normal, which is a 4-3, but hello, it's such a good normal. Very quick, and then I also found out that this is a hard knockdown, so then you can kind of walk forward, and then you get that. Or you can just go for a raw scoop, so you get kind of a 50-50 there. So I'm going to play around with that a little bit. I honestly do think that Warlock is probably one of the worst variations of the game, and I know people kind of say, oh, Dink, there's so many worse ones, but I honestly, in my opinion, and I've played Warlock for a very long time, yes, he does have the 50-50s that Quan has standard, but I mean, they're not as safe as they are in his other variations, and they're certainly not as safe as some other characters in the game have. So I get a lot of hate for that, but it's just my opinion, so sue me, I guess. So yeah, that's basically it. I would use Warlock against Full Auto Jackie, Sector, Tremor, Broodmother, Devora, I guess you could. But, I mean, you could also use Summoner. I think Summoner's a better option for that. I wouldn't use that strictly for the forward 3. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think. Which variation of Quan Chi is your least favorite to fight? Which one do you find problematic with whatever character you play? And as always, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, because it really helps me out. And subscribe, because we make videos like this all the time. Hashtag Bonehawks and all that stuff. And we'll see all you guys in the next video.
Accept your death.